Everyone, it is time for us to take a look at iOS 16 on our iPhone SE 2020 model and see if you should actually go and install it. Now, first of all, I will tell you, I installed this very first beta on this iPhone, and now I'm installing the release candidate and the official version coming out tomorrow, and I do think it's been a very interesting ride. However, I will still tell you, if you can wait out a few more versions of iOS, I would recommend installing it at that point, but we'll talk about that a little bit further. One of the biggest things to keep in mind though is that this update is about a little bit over 5 gigabytes. So if you plan on installing this version of software, do keep in mind you probably need to have maybe 10 gigabytes saved up to actually install it. Now our lock screen got one of the biggest changes here. So if we go and click on our lock screen like this, you can hold down on the lock screen here, and we have the ability now of customizing our lock screen, which is so cool. There still seems to be some glitches as you saw over there, but now what we can do is click up on the other widgets or lock screens right here if you have them. If not, you can also add a new lock screen by clicking down here. You can add a new wallpaper, and you can also customize this. You can customize the text of your time up here. You can add a widget down here too, which is so cool. And there's a ton of capability here that you probably wouldn't have had otherwise on any versions of iOS or even some like jailbreak tweaks that I've seen before. So I'm actually really happy to see this, and that is something that is probably one of the biggest changes now with iOS 16 that I'm really happy to see. Now, unlocking our phone, we have a few different things. One, everything is identically the same. On some iPhones, you have the little search bar down here. I think it's like if you have a notch, you have the search bar here, which is cool. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same stuff as before. The widgets are the same, everything's the same, the layout's the same. But we now have the ability, which is really cool, of actually connecting our Switch Pro controller and our Nintendo Joy-Cons to our iPhone to play games with. So before we could only, use things like our PlayStation controllers and whatnot. Now we can actually utilize our Joy-Cons too. If you have a Nintendo Switch, that is a really awesome thing I'm really happy to see. Now you also have on some iPhones the ability of seeing your battery percentage on the top right. This has been a staple on iPhones with home buttons, but now with iPhones like notches with the iPhone 13 here, they now support that too, which is really cool. Now, our iMessage application is probably the one app that got the biggest changes here. So now what we have the ability of doing is we now have the ability of sending or unsending messages, which is crazy, editing sent iMessages, which is also insane, and we also have the ability of unreading messages as well. So I definitely do tell you this is one of the coolest things Apple's done, and I'm really happy they implemented something like this because it is a really cool feature that they brought in. So that application got one of the biggest changes here. We also have the ability on some iPhones of using our webcam or using our camera as a webcam on our iPhone, which I'm really happy to see too. So overall, the consensus in my opinion is, should you install iOS 16 on your iPhone SE 3 or iPhone SE 2020, or really any iPhone for that matter? The answer is probably not. I don't think you should install iOS 16 on any iPhone right now. And the main reason for that is mostly because it's not that stable of a software. It still has gotten better, which I'm really happy about. But your best bet is to wait until the next version of iOS 16 comes out. Wait until iOS 16.0.1 or 16.0.2 or even 16.1. If you can wait until like those versions of software, that is the best thing to do here. There hasn't really been a point where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I installed this version of software earlier than I should have. It's never really been like that. I think the best thing to do is wait until it gets a little bit more stable and then go from there. The SE2 isn't really that old of a phone, so it's not going to be, hurt that much, but it is one of those things you should probably keep in the back of your mind. Now, on top of that, I would also like to say, if you're planning on updating, make as many backups as you can. You never know what can happen. Your whole entire phone could go and, mess up, but as long as you have those backups of data, then you should be good. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.